an Overseer going to move with his army, so this could be shut down. But again, we see a push by COs. Oh, these force fields are preventing the roaches and the speedlings from doing too much damage, funneling them a bit. More force fields are going down, funneling these roaches, stopping them from doing any much damage, but COs isn't doing that much damage himself. He's just testing what Vortex has.
I have to say, the timing on that Spore Crawler and Overseer were very interesting.
They were.
Because, you know, if you look at his vision, he did not see the Dark Shrine until later. Oh, maybe. Yeah, no, he hadn't. He sacrificed an Overlord afterwards. Anyway, it's kind of curious, but it's not something too bad.
We do see that CO has broken down the gold rocks, and he is expanding as well, so we could see it possibly double expand as he is getting close to 400 minerals. We do see him putting down 3 photon cannons, so he's going to want to desperately hold on to that expansion. In the meantime, Vortex Zero is breaking down his own gold rocks, and these Zerglings are going to have a little poke around, see if he has expanded, and he's going to go straight through it. Is he? No, he's not. He's going to go straight over the edge, but he does see that there are probes there.
Yeah, but although CO has his army is still just gateway composition, which is rather interesting, and Zerg is coming into the natural Protoss. What's he deciding to do? Oh, he's going to come back and defend. Dark Templars being walked in here, and there is no Overseer here. Where is the Overseer? Overseer died in the middle of the map.
Oh, and the Vortex Zero's forces are just going to get absolutely sandwiched in between this. These Zerglings have died to the photon cannons, and there is an amazing wall off currently for CO, so nothing can just run by straight into his main.
Yeah. 2 Colossi have just started in production for the Protoss player. He's evolving very nicely into the mid game, and these roaches are not going anywhere, I'm afraid.
Oh, this Dark Templar is morphing just where these Hydralisks are, and these Hydralisks are just going to be absolutely gutted if he isn't moved away. 4 Zealots are being moved in, and this expansion is going to go down just as it finished. Archons are being morphed in, and is he going to continue pushing? An Overseer has been morphed in the field and is going to move with the main army, it looks like, but CO is pulling back.
Yep. 165 supply, 2 116. Interesting force fields.
Force fields catching 2 of the roaches.
But it's just a foregone conclusion at this point. I would say Probes work account are heavily in the Protoss favor, and he is also a base up with superior tech as these 2 Colossi walk out into the middle of the map. And you know, I like the Archons. It just proves that DTs are really something Zerg should be worrying about, because the transition into Archon is so much better now. Anyway, here comes the another attack on the 3rd, this time with Overseer.
Looks like this 3rd is in danger of going down. CO does pull all his probes, but it looks like his probes are going to be funneled in. CO's forces are moving in, and it looks like he's going to sandwich. Oh, 1 Colossi gets sniped down. His forces not being able to tank these force fields, nicely cutting out these roaches. Battalion claws have been done, but there is an observer, so Battalion Burrow is completely useless, and Vortex Zero is just pulling back.
Yep. Nice little snipe for the Colossi, but he's still like 40 supply, and he sniped the 3rd as well, but because he has the 3rd on the far left, but he's not really mining from it yet. So it just seems to me that a bit of trouble. I mean, the harassment style is nice, he just can't lose too much to it.
These roaches could be caught out of position. Delayed force fields feel like they're a bit wasted, preventing his own forces from actually getting there. And the other Colossus is sniped by these roaches, but at this point it won't make a huge amount of difference. There is no Overseer, so these Dark Templars will be able to do a significant amount of damage. These Archons also being able to tank mount, and Vortex Zero is just giving COs the runarounds, but there are more Zealots being morphed in, but these roaches are just decimating them. And Vortex is just going loop the loop.
Yep. I think we'll bring around the roses going on right now. Just killing Nexus, but not really doing too much economic damage. And he's actually
and we do see CO pushing on this 3rd, And third is absolutely going to go.
Zerg seems to be spending too much time microing and not much time macroing. As you can see, he's on 1800 minerals and 600 gas. He really needs to start spending that, and he's supply blocked again. But this is probably why he's not too fussed about taking a third. He's actually got a bunch of roaches at the bottom here. Interesting enough, he seems to have forgotten about them. And Protoss is just like, fuck this.
As soon as you say that, he selects the roaches. Protoss is pushing ahead. These spawn calls are decimated. These roaches are trying to offer a little bit of resistance, but they're absolutely melting to these Archons and these Colossi. But the roaches have burrowed, and they're going to try and take out this Colossi. But the Colossi move away. He may lose one if he's not careful. But the Force Fields are doing excellent placement, and the Zealots and Dark Templars are cleaning up. These tunneling claws are proving fairly effective. One Colossi goes down. He may be able to take a second, but the damage has already been inflicted. Zealots are straight into the middle and completely gutting it. Another Colossus goes down, but all the roaches have gone. There are only Zerglings out on the field. Force Fields preventing any reinforcements. And I don't see how he can recover from this. GG!
Again, and unit of the match was that Archon there with 24 kills. But yeah, you know, we do joke about people doing things straight after the match, and I will check the VOD afterwards, but obviously, like, if we do find someone stream cheating, then their team will be removed from the tournament, so I don't encourage it. Anyway, not to take anything away from the victory of the Protoss, he played very solidly, repelled the attack, and congrats to him. So that's Sheffield going up 2-1.
And next match we'll bring you will be the University of London team number 2 against the University of Manchester. I hope. Don't put my foot in my mouth.
That was a big sigh. Do you not like Manchester?
I have nothing against Manchester. I am not saying anything.
You're not cityist, are you?
I'm not Manchester, yeah.
It doesn't look like it, Red Bazooka Joe, because the University of London 2 versus Manchester is going to be the last one.
And what game is he asking about? Yeah, the Edinburgh game, Oxford Edinburgh game has already been played, with Oxford going through to the quarterfinals.
Replays are being cast tomorrow. Yeah, if you want to check out any games.
Are Unit Lost doing that?
Well, Unit Lost maybe Leon, but you should check both their things if you want to see the games and try and avoid spoilers.
Joe goes up.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, dude. Dude, can you just take this knife out of my back? It seems to have just been stuck there. It's just hanging out there.
Oh, hang out. But in this Team League, we have seen that the Zerg are being outplayed and outmatched by the Protoss, which is rather strange. I mean,
well, he did
the
the 2 base. What you do in the 2 base, you build like 7 or 8 roaches and fully reinforced with lings. It was very popular in Korea for a while. It slowly came over to here.
Yeah.
After you saw a lot. I mean, Idra does it a lot. But you've got to be careful with it. You know, you can't be too careless with it. And he did do it, but the Protoss was very solid. Obviously, when you play Protoss on the ladder and you do the Sentry Expand, one of the first reactions Zerg do is to just all-in you back. And so if you just practice the 3-gate expand, you'll get a lot of practice against the serious pressure Zerg can do on you. It's not something you have to get like a custom game for.
Yeah.
Anyway.
GSTL, GSL, Tonus, RE.
Yep, that means it has the rocks near the 3rd.
Indeed.
And Sheffield are up 2-1.
So Sheffield take this, they will win this game.
Set. Haven't seen this map yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
It's always an interesting map for Protoss. You can just get to 3 base really quickly and then just max out and then move in with Colossi, Void Rays, and lots of units. Anyway, you want an intro this time, don't you?
Nope.
Yeah, you do.
Yep. You're doing it.
Drink of choice today is Monster. Ripper. Anyway. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the UK University Team League Day 4. And the overlay works. Today we have Sergeant Codfish, representing Leicester at the bottom. He is the Blue Zerg. And at the top we have Reedy, a Red Protoss representing Sheffield. And they are currently 2-1 up in this best of 5 series in the playoff section of the UK University Team League. Did you manage to catch their leagues?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, this is sponsored by cynicalbrit.com, which is where you can go to find out everything about the Cynical Brit, who is Total Biscuit. He has currently sponsored £500 for this prize pool, and we are very grateful to him for that. Anyway, we are on Terminus Re, which is a massive map with an easily accessible third. So I'll be honest when I say I'm quite surprised this pylon is at the top of the ramp.
Yes, I mean he does have plenty of space to move down, but move down into his thirds or start trying to do a partial funnel at the choke to his natural. But again, he's probably just playing it safe. But the rush distance of this map is so huge, you can expect to see a nice long macro game with the Zerg taking the 3 bases rather rapidly, I would expect.
And this the Zerg is Liquid Pro, who last I saw him on this map against STAs and NASL a couple of weeks ago, he 6-pulled and it really did not go well at all. Despite
you can't 6-pull with a map this big.
You can, because Protoss 15 Nexus. But you gotta be smart about it, and he wasn't smart about it, and it didn't work. Anyway, you know Zergs, they lose the first game and then they 6-pull and they're like, oh well that didn't work. Anyway,
I've never 6-pulled.
Well, I'm referring to a certain Zerg name beginning with I, ending in A. You can fill the rest out.
Yes.
Anyway,
yes.
At the bottom we have the spawning pool going down. No gas yet. We see very minimal heavy Queen base play, Spanish style. We're not quite sure. Just making drones, making overlords. Really wish he'd make an overlord actually, because he's supply blocked. But real key is going to be on the Protoss here, as he takes his second gas before Zealot. Now, it might be he's doing something very gas heavy, but he might have just seen the drone and really not want it stolen, so that's why he got the gas. He doesn't necessarily have to use it yet. And there's the Zealot coming out as per usual. And no gas yet from the Zerg. And finally there's the Overlord, thank God for that. And we're still alive, thank God for that, End of the world was not today.
No, Jesus is laddering on StarCraft 2 at Zelnaga. You'll see it in a little while.
Also, if there's any Americans here, I believe the BlizzCon tickets went on sale today, so you might want to check that out if you did not already know and you live near Anaheim, which is where it normally is. Anyway, go check it out.
Destroy in Rady's main is refusing to die, and it's still getting plenty of scouting information. We do see a second gateway is halfway done for Rady, or Rady, however you want to pronounce it, so we can expect him to go 3-gate into Expo.
Massive supply block from a Protoss player. He'd been supply blocked for about 10 seconds before he actually noticed and just put the pylon down, so now he's starting to float the money. And it also means the Stalkers cannot get out to actually kill this drone. So the drone's going to see 2 gates going up, which is kind of interesting. 2 gates, really heavy gas, and the first units of Stalker. I think we're going to see DTs. Or Blinks, because he's building 2.
I would, on a map like this, I would say, well, there's a 3rd gate now, so we could see expansion, but in the long run, I would expect to see Blink Stalkers. I mean, there are plenty of ledges, plenty of cliffs for escape routes, and to jump down. Again, DTs have been successful. I mean, we've seen them twice before, and work twice before, so who knows?
Still not killing the drone. There we go. Here's the Stalker killing drone. Now the drone has seen 2 Stalkers, and that's a pretty big tell. it means there's no sentries, so it's not going to be a sentry expand. He's putting down the evolution chamber. He's probably going to put down just one spore at his natural, but here's the question: is it going to be a DT shrine or is it going to be blink stalkers? He's flowing so much gas right now. Look at that, 400 gas. Either way, it's got to be a Twilight Council. Oh, he's building a sentry. This is probably just the weirdest sentry expand I've ever seen, and I've been over-analysing it for nothing.
I mean, the Zergling is going to have a poke through and going to see that his units have moved down. Yeah, you're right, that is the weirdest sentry expand I've seen.
Sentry expand when you get 500 gas. No worries, guys. It's all good. It's all good.
That Zergling is going to get away with half of its health. Grateful to be able to return to the creep.
No, the thing is, the moment the Zergling saw the sentry, he knew it wasn't DTs. Because, I mean, that just sets that so far behind. I mean, he doesn't actually know how much gas the Protoss was floating, but if he puts two and two together, he can generally expect it to not be DTs.
And as if Sergeant Coldfish was telepathic at the moment, I was about to say, I expect Coldfish to take his third anytime soon. He does!
Yeah,
so
well, I mean, taking
a third
isn't such a big tell on his map. He still expects DTs, actually. He's just being safe, he's putting the Spore Crawler down, but I mean, what is however many mils of Spore Crawler is? Let me check. It is 75. You know, what is that when you compare it to just, like, auto losing the game if you haven't got protection at that point in time?
These Zerglings are just slowly trying to chase this probe, but this probe may be able to... Ooh.
No, it takes 2 shots from a spine to kill a probe.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bailing Nest going down for the Protoss player. For the Zerg player, sorry. Now this is interesting because he is not going for Overlord speed and he hasn't positioned Overlords for the Bailing drops. Bailing drops, by the way, are very good if any like budding Zergs are out there. If you think you're actually gone behind, then try a Bailing drop. You can just bring yourself right back in that game. Anyway, he's going for Bailings and Infestors, which is a slightly curious composition. I do like it slightly.
I mean, while most people disregard Bailings in a ZVP matchup because, you know, because of the shields and the Bailings don't do that much damage, when you have Colossus in the mix and the ball isn't that tightly packed, the Bailings can find their way into the middle and do tremendous amounts of damage to the Colossus and the gateway units.
Yeah, but they're still not that efficient against that. I mean, generally, like, if you're going to put them in Overlord, you're aiming for the sentries. You want to take out the force fields, and then after that you can reinforce with roaches, bloody blah. But the most effective thing I've seen them used for recently is the trained and process to do Bailing drops. It's been very effective. And
we do see an Overseer is scouting through the base of Ready, and it may die if these Stalkers have anything to say about it. Drops a Changeling, and I don't think he notices that. Oh, yes he does.
And the Stalker.
Oh, this Overseer may... Yes, the Overseer has died, unfortunately, but he has got plenty of scouting information that a Robotics Bay is up, so he could be expecting Colossus sometime soon.
It's very interesting, though, that he saw the Robotics Bay, but he didn't see the Immortal that had just popped out of the robotics facility. So what Zerg's going to do now is actually overproduce Corruptors, and if Protoss is smart, he's going to stick with his Immortals and could actually just win on unit composition alone, which would be very good because Zerg only saw the robotics bay. He didn't see what came out of the robotics facility, which could be big.
I mean, the Observer is seeing part of Sergeant Coldfish's base, but he doesn't see the infestation pit or the double Evo chambers just yet. He does see that Bailings are being morphed, so he could expect Bailing drops.
Oh, and the Observer dies. Now this is actually going to be quite curious. This Protoss backs off. That's rather interesting. He only has 3 sentries though. Okay, they are full health, but if you consider the Bailing is going to be Overlords, this is going to really hurt if they land on the Zealots and the Sentries.
I mean, Coldfish could alternatively go for the main mineral line, as there is no forces there to even try and stop these Overlords.
Yeah, well what you do is you attack both at the same time, and one of them is bound to work. Yeah. The best way I've found for handling that is getting some sort of Stargate tech and just leaving a Void Ray right there until you need it. But anyway, it's not about me. Interestingly enough, Protoss does not seem to have been decided to commit. That sentence did not make sense, but anyway, he's not building Colossus, which is because he knew that Zerg saw the River Bay, and he builds a Colossus. As I say that, so I'm just going to shut up.
I mean, Riley could have could have thought to himself, I'm going to put a Robo Bay down, so he thinks I'm going Colossus, so he'll overproduce in Corruptors. However, that hasn't been the case.
Yep. However, here we go. This is going to be Infestor's fungal growthing a big ball, and then the Baneling's going to be dropped on it, and it's going to be interesting to see how this works. The Zealot is going to see the Overlords, but the question is, does he put 2 and 2 together? Are they there to just deter damage, like from the Stalkers against the Corruptors, or they actually have Banelings in them? It's going to be pretty interesting as we see Corruptors coming out. Which is
the smart thing that Coldfish is doing. He's floating 2 empty Overlords with that group. So if
it's all just to stop the focus fire, really.
Yeah, exactly. It will stop it. And we do see 2 Zerglings have shoved their way into that unit composition, so he is aware of what there is. He knows there are Colossus, he knows there are Stalkers and Zealots and Sentries, but only 1 Immortal, and he does decide that he is going to go for the push.
Yeah, and he does have Stalkers up on the high ground here. He does expect some sort of Baneling play, I'd imagine. It's interesting that he's kind of gone back into Colossus now, like after waiting. Look at Zerg's minerals, actually. He's actually floating a lot. Rather surprising as we see it all go into production. More Infestors, more Zerglings. He made a Corruptor as well. I'm not really sure why, but this is going to be an interesting attack. I think if the Banelings land true, Zerg is going to be in a really strong position because these Stalkers are up at the top. He's not going to be able to focus fire the Overlords down too well, and here we go. The Fungals are going to be
these Infestors are put out in front, and Fungal Growth does go down on the majority of the units. These Overlords are not floating into position just yet. Looks like he just wants to poke around, try and do as much early damage as possible. But he does lose 1 Infestor. He may lose a second if he's not careful. The second has been sniped. Looks like Coldfish has lost a fair amount in this. Oh, and he loses those 2 Infestors. But these Stalkers have shut down this Overlord drop. These Infestors are going to try and do more Fungal Growth, locking down these units, but he may lose another if he's not careful. Oh, and this Colossus is starting to range. 2 go down almost immediately. These Zerglings are now going to start swarming in. These Banelings are going to be dropped in like he wanted over the units.
He's mismicroed the Banelings actually. He's not dropping the Banelings. Come on, dude, drop the Banelings. Here we go, they're dropping. Oh, big mismicro there by the Zerg player, and he does manage to take both Colossus, but that could have done so much better.
He did take down a fair amount of Zealots and Sentries and both Colossi, but he didn't inflict as much damage as he wanted to, and really could do the counter push here if he wants to, but
no, he
looks
can't.
like he's not.
I mean, these Infestors that are in the middle of the map, they have enough for 2 Fungal, well, some of them have enough for 2, or will do have enough for 2 soon, and Zerg is quite happy to just sit back and tech to Ultralisks while he's only on 104 supply. But he's like,
we also see a Greater Spire is now being morphed. Good Fungal Growth locking down these Stalkers, but it looks like he loses another Infestor. He needs to be really careful with these. 3rd goes down, 4th goes down. He has been really careless with these Infestors. But again, he has a huge amount of money, huge amount of gas, so he can afford to waste them and resupply. And it looks like Brady is going to go on the counter push, taking down that Corruptor.
The actual problem I can see with this is, I mean, okay, he's not causing too much health damage to the Stalkers, and their shields are about to be fully regenerated, but all his supply at the moment, all his army supply is Zerglings. And against tech, they really don't stand up well. I love the meter switch though. Absolutely love it. This is definitely what he should be doing. If he knew that Protoss was building Colossi again, then it would even be an even better decision. But he's going Mutalisks, and Great Spire is about to finish. I'm not sure if he still has any Corruptors yet. But this harass is going to be very strong because
he has no Corruptors out in the field. He did have that one, but it was sniped off, so I think he was planning to make that into a
careful here. This push, because these 2 Colossi can actually do so much damage. There's only 1 Fungal left on these Infestors, and Protoss, you know, as soon as these Mutas go into the main, Protoss is likely to just A-click into the Zerg's base. And here we go. Protoss can definitely take this.
And it looks like Brady is just going to wait for reinforcements from his pylons. He is warping in 2 pylons. He does have an observer in that mix. It looks like these Mutalisks will be killed by this Stalker count if he's not careful. He is losing that rather rapidly. 3 Stalkers left.
But the real battle is at the natural of the Zerg player. Nice fungal growth. Here come the Banelings. They're going to come in, not get too many hits on... Oh, the Banelings lost so much to the Colossi. But they do take a massive amount of Stalkers, but the army has gone now. Okay, here's the Corruptors. But the Stalkers aren't going to be able to snipe out these Corruptors. There's no Broodlords yet. And there's only Zergling reinforcements, so I am actually quite worried for the Zerg player right now.
Yeah. He only has Overlords out in the field and those Zerglings which are being built, and
he's going Banelings, but
morphed.
Protoss is not going to mess around. And he's going to see these Banelings. He just has to get these Colossi to get a couple of focus fire on these morphing Banelings, and he will be in great shape. The Banelings are going to finish. Wow. Missed opportunity for the Protoss player.
Does pull back, and he is going to kite these Banelings, but they may be able to do enough damage. Force Field's a bit too late, takes down one Colossus, and he gets the other down to really low health, 27 HP. More Zerglings are in production, and the Queen to replace the one that was lost on the natural. I'm surprised Reddy hasn't broken down these back blocks, but he is still continuing to push. And this Colossus is really
the Queen kills the Colossus.
The Queen snipes the Colossus.
Wow. And that's the end of this push. Hero Queen right there. Give her a medal. And Zerglings are going to come in, and finally they are going to wrap this up, because they are 2-2, which is pretty interesting actually, considering the Protoss is only 1-1. But this is the problem for Zerg now. Protoss is taking his 4th, because, well, actually he's just not got that many. Well, they're even on harvesters, ignore me. But kind of oddly, after that exchange, they are even on supply, but I'd say Protoss is ahead on tech. Zerg really needs to utilize his Great Aspire.
And it looks like Brady is terrified of Queens now ever since that one took it down. So the Colossus is backing off. Could easily have taken that expansion. There is a drone transfer going on, so that Colossus could have gotten a fair amount of kills, but he is pulling away.
Okay, this is the money part right now. For the Zerg player, he's got 4 Ultralisks on the way, but he is money broke, so these Ultras and Lings, he cannot waste them. I really hope he does.
Currently 3-3 being researched, with the Ultralisk plating being researched as well. So those Ultralisks will have a total of 5 armor, and there are only 1-1 upgrades for Brady, so he could be in a lot of trouble.
No, he is going to be in a lot of trouble. He's trying to rely on these force fields with the Zealots to keep him alive. So all Zerg has to do at this point, I would say, is just not throw away his Zerglings, wait for the Ultralisks, and maybe wait for Chinichus plating, but that's going to take a while.
These Zerglings,
although I mean,
take out.
The massive thing is that Zerg doesn't know about the Ultralisks. I think he lost it at some point earlier. Yeah, I remember it flew over a Spore Caller. So Protoss is continuing to make Colossus, but with 3 more Ultralisks in the works, I'm very worried for Protoss right about now.
I mean, he does have 4 in the field, with 4 more in production, with that massive Zerglings, which are at 3-3, well soon to be at 3-3. This could be a lot of damage, especially since he's only favouring Zealot.
It's going to be so careful with these Zerglings though, don't lose too many. And here are the Ultralisks. Just gotta be careful. Zerg has to buy time now. 3-3 is about to finish, but no.
Oh, he does not want to back himself into a corner.
No, he can back himself to a corner. Ultralisks destroy force fields. He just has to be really careful with his Ultralisks and not do this.
Oh, and those Zerglings are being minced, but these Ultralisks are just going to stampede through. They're going to do a huge amount of damage. These Zerglings are involved in the mix. Force fields are doing nothing against these Ultralisks. The Ultralisks are doing massive, very effective damage, especially since they're 2 attack, and nothing is going to remain standing. He may lose 1 Ultralisk, but the Colossus does go down, as does the majority of the Gateway units, and this Colossus... Oh,
it's interesting that whole battle happened when there were 3 Ultralisks at the bottom here. And now Zerg is going to collect his forces and go for this 4th of the Protoss player, but there's no Immortals on the field, there's no Archons on the field. He really does not have much of an answer for these Ultralisks, and Zerg needs to be slightly careful about the Ultralisks though. He's just walking straight past.
There is, at the minute, there's only 1 Colossus, 1 Zealot, and 8 Stalkers are on the field.
Zerg's just like, I don't care you have a 4th right there, I'm just going to walk right past it and get over here. And
at the minute, there are 8 Ultralisks on the field, and they are at 5 armor and 3.
And that probe tried to fight off boldly against this amount of Ultralisks, but sadly it didn't happen. It's the true hero of this story, though. He didn't run away like the Colossus earlier. And Protoss is continuing to make Colossus. I think this is ultimately going to be his downfall. He's coming back to try and
These
do something
Ultralists
against
these Ultralists are just doing huge area effect damage, just swiping away the cannons. But he needs to be ready, he needs to be really careful with his Colossi. He needs to move up into the high ground before these Ultralists take out. And this is just going to be absolutely devastating. He's focused all on the Colossus goes down, but another one is on the high ground. He's going to start kiting these Ultralists. He needs to focus on the ones which are at really low health to focus this, but this natural is being destroyed. And at the minute, there really has nothing on the field. There's barely anything.
Yeah, it was a good tech switch by the Zerg there. I do like the tech switch in the fact that, you know, he had the greatest bioarc, he could have gone Broodlords, but he decided not to. He went for Ultralists, which I do like because Protoss did have a fair amount of Stalkers on the field, and it definitely worked in his favour because
Ultralists have now broken into the main. More Warpins are trying to halt this advance. The Stalkers are just sitting back, shooting at the Ultralists, trying to take down the Recoils. He has taken down 2 so far, but with these 3 attacks, it's just cutting through everything.
Yeah,
there is no fighting forces on the field for Rady at all. His unit producing facilities are being completely gutted.
Yeah, he's going for the Dark Shrine there, which is kind of interesting. He does feel like he has a last-ditch effort in this, but
GG!
Leicester even at the series 2-all. Congrats to Sergeant Codfish. It was actually pretty close at one point, and then the Queen killed the Colossus.